If Jesus walked into this room right now and sat across from you, what would you say to him?
I don't know. It would definitely be something not about myself.
Right.
It would probably be something about my family. Will they be okay?
Is that like a big burden on your heart with your family? I don't know if you want to get into that.
No, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
There was something that was going on, some family thing happened, and I hear my mom, and she's crying in her bedroom. And I go in there, and she doesn't know what to do. She is someone that I know wants to know Jesus, but is having a very, very hard time getting to that point. I just remember putting my hand on her. I took my cross pendant out. I closed my eyes. I just started praying. I said, Jesus, in thy name, please take away my mother's pain. And I just say that on repeat over and over and over again. And that's happened a few times now. And each time I felt more of the presence of Jesus in that moment. Recently, I've started to see her life has gotten so much better.
Wow.
It's so beautiful to see.
Come on.
It's amazing.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pray About It podcast. How are you guys doing? All right, so we have a really cool guest today. You guys saw the title. It's the man, the myth, the legend. We got him on here. It's Cristian Frengut. Woo!
Cool guest. That's what I'm being known as?
Yeah, you're the cool guest.
Okay, I'm an aspiring creator as well as Nikki.
Yeah, you do a lot of creative work.
Yeah.
Known as the TikToker, ex-TikToker, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Retired, yeah.
Yeah.
You did a lot of things.
Soon to be maybe back. We'll see.
Are you actually?
We'll see. I don't know. Not right now. It's nothing I'm trying to rush into.
You're a busy guy now. Now you have a job.
Now I have a job.
You do.
After not having one for quite a while now.
Yeah, but it's good. You know, we're both working.
Exactly. Yeah, we are.
We're doing that, and that's it. But so I wanted to have you on here, just so we can just like chat and talk and just talk about, how God is doing. I feel like you have like over the past year opened up yourself a lot to God and who Jesus is as a person, and I just want to like pick your brains and like see like where you're at and all that kinds of stuff. But if you want to share like anything or like how you are in your walk right now, we can just go into that.
Yeah, well, I even before this, I have like on my phone, on my notes app, I had like written a bunch of stuff down. Like, okay, I'm gonna bring this up, or like I want to ask you about this, because we talk a lot already.
Yeah.
Like you're one of my best friends, and especially like you got me into like introduced me essentially to my Christian faith, like as a whole.
Yeah.
And even like, obviously, I grew up Christian. I grew up. Parents would take me to church, but like I didn't actually understand like what it like. I didn't understand like the weight of like what Jesus did. Like I read about it when you're a kid, but then you actually understand it.
Yeah, it's not personal when you're a kid.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like that you've been a part of that journey of me of relearning it, and actually it has meaning now to me. Yeah. Like beforehand where it didn't. But definitely, like you said, like in the last 2 years, I think probably is when I really started to like, okay, I kind of like this Christian stuff.
Yeah.
Like I really like, I'm starting to like, I've always had faith, always had faith, and God's always been with me. Yeah. But I've never actually known that. And even now it's kind of like, it's a bit of a slow burn, because I still think I'm nowhere near as strong in my faith as you are, and you are definitely someone I look up to in that way, and aspire to be like. Well,
there's a difference between comparing, because I feel like when you compare, like you can't compare someone's like maybe like 5-year walk to someone's 1-year walk, like there's just way more experience and faith that comes in that. So I think like, because it says how like comparison is the thief of joy, and if we're gonna kind of compare with like a lot of things, it kind of takes away, the joy of what God is doing in your own personal life,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But because obviously we have many different friends. Yeah. And I hang around a lot of different people. And it's kind of like being, in two different worlds a lot.
Yeah.
And that can, some weeks I'm really bad with like having a routine of like, okay, wake up, immediately pray, like actually like have build these habits. And then the next week I'm like, I just don't do any of that.
Yeah.
And it's about instilling those habits.
Yeah.
And like even like in your bathroom, like when I was just in there, I saw you have this like the
Bible verses.
Yeah, the Bible verses, and that's so good because you just wake up. That's the first thing you see when you walk in there, and like those little things that really like build up over time to really strengthen that. Like I definitely need more of that.
Yeah, that's actually one of the questions that I had for you. I wanted to see like it talks about how like bad company ruins good morals, right? And we could take that however we want to think about it. But the people that we surround ourselves with kind of is like not only who we are, but builds up to us to the people who we become. You know what I mean? So like I wanted to like ask you, like with the, I guess people, because you said like obviously we have like there's a bunch of different friend groups everywhere all the time. And not saying, like people that, like we choose to hang around are bad people, obviously. But at the same time, like, how are they pushing you closer to be a better person and more importantly, closer to God? Because like, it's kind of hard because it's like struggling between like, oh, like some days I want to hang out with you, God, but sometimes I'd rather hang out with my friends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's great question. Cause like even, I don't even find enough time. I do find enough time, but I struggle with it of balancing that. Okay, this is the time I'm giving to God, and then this is the time I'm giving to my social life because I spend a lot of time giving too much of myself out there when I need to reel in and like, okay, this time should be devoted to myself and God. And anytime I'm with other people that aren't strong in their faith or maybe they don't even know who God in their life or their God looks different than my God. I always try to make sure I speak to them or walk with God first. He puts my best step first. Yeah. And no matter what conversation, what room, I always try to lead with love and come from a place of understanding. Because there are a lot of people that I speak to that essentially like denounce the existence of God. Right. Which already in itself that's their personal choice, that's their personal belief, but it's like, obviously I don't agree with it, but I'm still going to talk to you as though like you're someone I do care about. Yeah. I try to lead with love and again, putting I hope and pray that God puts my best foot forward when trying to talk to those people and not in a way that's like me looking down on them.
No, yeah, it's a very touchy thing when it comes to like speaking to people who aren't really believers or don't have a belief in any kind of like faith. Like you can't blame them for that, because a lot of people grow up with religious trauma and like, or they were misrepresented of who God is from other people. One of like Jesus's final words when, he was being crucified on the cross was he said, "Father, forgive them for they do not know what they do." And I try to think of, like those words constantly and remind myself like, we're blessed enough to have the opportunity to know who Jesus is. And when that comes out, when we walk in our faith, he also says to make disciples of all nations. And that means, like Jesus has saved us. Why would we hold in something so good and, the answer to the world's problems, I'd say, and just hold that back with other people, So I think it comes out with like, like you said, like sharing your belief instead of like shoving it down people's throats, because those are two different things. That's when it gets messy. Yeah.
100%. And that's why I try to like, instead of like, it's more of like, I'm trying to show them rather than tell them. Like instead of speaking words at them that I know will just go one ear and out the other, just through my actions.
Live by example.
Exactly. Live by example. Yeah. So that's something that I try to remember, and I try to always, be very wary of when I'm around other different people.
Who is God to you?
God is someone that has saved me. God is someone that I've seen and felt the presence of in others, in myself, in things around me, around the world, and God is him, first of all. Let's acknowledge that. God is him. Like, you look at the world, like you look at something as like just something that's just so beautiful, like nature.
Yeah.
Like you look outside, like you wake up, or even when like I'll be camping and I walk outside, I'm like, all of this is so this ecosystem I'm looking at is built in such a intricate way that like there just can't be, there's no way there's not a creator of this.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So
yeah. Do you believe that Jesus is God?
I do believe that Jesus is God. I definitely need to, I'm not say learn, but I want to meet Jesus more, because I think I have a interesting time distincting the difference between God and Jesus, but I know that they are the same, but I know they're also different.
Right.
So I think I have some hard times like trying to rationalize that, but that's the thing. It's not something I can rationalize. That's just it is what it is.
I think it's cool because like why a lot of people would argue, saying like, oh, Jesus isn't God, Jesus isn't Lord. But the whole point, of the gospel, because you could read the whole book and that's great, but the gospel in short is that, sin was entered in the world in the very beginning, and sin that could be made throughout anything, cancer, sicknesses, our disobedience, like that's all sin. And there was someone who needed to come to defeat sin. So no longer we need to live in it, and sin is defeated. That's why it says how God came down in the flesh through Jesus, and that's why he's called the Son of God. And then Jesus, like he knew what he was here for. And I think it's a beautiful thing because like, man, the sacrifice that he did for us, like we could grow very numb to what he's done for us, but like the thing is, when he died on the cross for our sins, it's not like he didn't want to. It was like, oh, I can't wait to. It was painful. It was terrible. People were making fun of him. People were spitting on him. You could barely recognize his face. And it's insane how something so painful and tragic can be the best example of love, because he laid himself down for us, knowing that we were still going to sin. But the thing is, when we acknowledge that Jesus is God and that he did die on the cross for our sins, we're set free not because of our undoing, but because of him, because of the price that he paid for us. That's why I think it's so cool, because you said it yourself, like he has saved you from everything. And, like I could say the same thing. Like if you guys haven't had an actual encounter with Jesus, it says where two or more are gathered. So me and you are in this room, the Spirit is here. And it's an awesome thing, because when Jesus died and then he came back 3 days later, his time on earth, those 40 days, he didn't leave us with nothing. He left us with the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is it's kind of like our landline between God and us, That's the Spirit that lives within us. And whenever we need something or we want to pray about something, the Holy Spirit is always there, no matter what it is. So that's why, like, I'm so evident and big on like God. There's so many issues in the world, and it's easier to focus on the issues, but like a lot of people don't want to find the solutions. They rather sit in the problems.
Amen.
But like, if there was someone out there who could take all of their problems away and save you from all those things, and more importantly, give you an unconditional love that surpasses understanding, then that's who Jesus is, and that's the difference between, like other gods, and like you have to follow all these rules, and that's where religion gets in the way. But when you focus strictly based off of a relationship, knowing that you could have that relationship with him, it adds a whole new meaning to, who God is. You know what I mean? But yeah,
there's no issue that God isn't too big to
handle. Yeah. All right. So I want to ask you this.
Okay.
If Jesus walked into this room right now
Okay.
and sat across from you, what would you say to him?
Could you like make me a better fisherman? Maybe I feel like he was well, he was a good fisherman, but
Yeah.
I would. What would I ask him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know what I would ask him.
Mm-hmm.
There's many things to think of. Probably just like it would definitely be something not about myself.
Right.
It would probably be something about my family.
Mm.
More of like, will they be okay? Will even those who I don't see, family, like live other, other states across the world, even like are they okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of times when people will tell you they're okay, family members tell you they're okay, but like you don't know really if they're
Right.
what they're dealing with or like what sickness they got going on or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they will tell you, but maybe not to the full extent. But just
Yeah.
I'd probably, because Jesus knows.
Yeah.
So I would probably just ask him that first.
Is that like a big burden on your heart with your family? I don't know if you want to get into
No, it's
that.
it's fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
It's more like, I mean, like I said, everyone has something going on. Everyone's family is always going through something, and just having that reassurance to know that all the times that you've prayed to Jesus, that he is watching over them, that he is working in their life, that there is, hope, and that he's doing more wonders in their life than you can ever possibly imagine for the good of them. That's something that I pray for a lot. That's something I probably pray for the most.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've divorced parents, siblings are kind of all over the place, but
Right.
like
A separated household isn't the best place to be around. It's not the healthiest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's cool, not cool, but it's interesting that you mentioned that, because like I try to think, right? If I have like a question, if I could sit in a room with Jesus, which maybe he's not here in physical form, but he's here in the spirit.
you feel him.
You could feel him. And I think it's cool because like when we are dealing with something and then it's to the point where we can't handle it, that's when, like you just sit down and pray. A lot of the times, like God allows us to hit rock bottom so we could see he's the foundation of everything. And, like you said, like, with your personal stuff, with your family and all that, I think it all starts with us. And if we're willing, because, at the end of the day, God's not going to force anything onto us. He gives us that free will and decision to come to him. But if we choose to come to him with all of our burdens and problems, knowing that we can't do a lot, but he can, that makes everything so much better. And it says, if you even have faith as a mustard seed is the smallest seed ever, but it grows into one of the biggest trees ever. And if you have faith like a mustard seed, knowing that God will move, then he could do so much in your life. But all it takes is our obedience. You know what I mean?
And even what you were saying about rock bottom, like even like when you don't know what to do, you literally don't have an answer. You don't know what your next move is going to be, but you all you can do is pray. And there's been countless times, and each time it's been more powerful since the last, when I was having to help my mom through something. And obviously, my mom, single mother, and there's she's gone through ups and downs, but there's moments when you'll see your mother cry.
Yeah.
And that's one of the last things any child wants to see their mom. And there's and those moments when I don't know what to do with the situation. I remember, especially the last time, I think I told you this before, but there was something that was going on, some family thing happened. Big argument, big fight, a lot of different things was going on. And I hear my mom, and she's crying in her bedroom. And I go in there, and she doesn't know what to do. Like, she has no idea. There's so many things going on, and she is someone that I know wants to know Jesus, but is having a very, very hard time getting to that point.
I think everyone wants to know Jesus, but they look in the wrong places.
Oh yeah, and yeah, definitely look in the wrong places. And I definitely want to be in the right place and have as much wisdom and knowledge as I can to help guide her to there. But in this moment, I had no idea what I was doing. So all I could do was, she's crying. I just remember putting my hand on her, and I took my cross pendant out, and I do this often, and even I found I do this on instinct. I don't even realize I'm doing anymore, but I'll take out my chain, I'll just hold it with one hand, the other hand's on her lap, and I'll just pray. I close my eyes, I start praying. I said, Jesus, in thy name, please take away my mother's pain. And I just say that on repeat, over and over and over again. And she looks up at me, and she starts smiling a little bit. She's like, "You'd make a good pastor." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, Mom." And I'm glad you got that out of that.
Yeah.
But I just remember I kept doing that, and it wasn't something that I planned on doing. It wasn't something as I'm walking to the room. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it just in that moment.
That was the Spirit moving.
I just sat down there, and I felt the need to I'm gonna put my hand on her.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold my cross, and I'm just going to start praying, and I'm going to say it over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's happened a few times now, and each time I felt more of the presence of Jesus in that moment.
Yeah.
And I've started to see her life has gotten so much better.
Wow.
It's like this veil of
the veil was lifted,
and it's just been lifted.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to see.
Come on.
It's amazing, and I really am happy that Jesus has been there, and that's the first question I probably would ask him if I saw him in person or felt his presence around me. I'd be like, are they okay? Like, are my prayers and their prayers like? And it is a little selfish to ask that.
I don't think it's selfish. I think it's a reoccurring thing that we often think about, because often we could feel like God isn't listening to us, but really He is, and it's just a matter of that consistency.
It's that huge feeling of joy, of relief, knowing that you're being heard, and not only are you being heard, but Jesus is working in tenfold, not only what you prayed for, but more than, and it's so beautiful to see that being out there.
Do you feel like you are hesitant sharing God with people, or do you feel like there's a hesitation there?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not fully. I often feel I'm not worthy to share or to speak on it, but that's also me being scared to share and speak on it.
Right.
And that's also more of an ego thing. I don't want to make myself look stupid for saying something that I know isn't stupid, but I know that if I say it, it won't sound like how others
might interpret it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's something that I need to put aside, and because there's been so many moments when I should, share with others, or I should say something, but I often don't, and I think that's something that I definitely need to work on.
Yeah, I think definitely with our pride and ego, it can get in the way. But you just touched on feeling often we could feel like we're not worthy. I feel like that when we think that way, it's saying, who am I to speak on this thing that I don't really know a lot about? But the current knowledge that you could know every verse in the Bible, memorize it, but if you don't have faith, it's kind of pointless. So not disregarding, it's good, we're supposed to stay in the scriptures and, continuously spend time with God. But at the same time, all it really matters is taking that leap of faith. Even if you look stupid, well, when I first started, you know how like hard it was, because we all grew up together, right?
Yeah.
But it was difficult, like separating myself for a moment, kind of from you guys. Not for anything bad, obviously, but like I needed to take that personal time with God to understand, like, you know, who am I surrounding myself with? And I feel like that is a very tough thing to do. But at the same time, like, when we're continuing to walk in faith, it's not us doing the work. It's just God. If I were to go out and, you know, evangelize, or like, you know, every time I hang out with you guys, I pray before, and I'm like, oh, like, God, like, allow us, or like allow, you know, you to come up in a conversation, you know? I pray because I'm bringing God with me, and it's not me who's speaking, it's just God, you know? So like, I feel like if that's maybe a reassurance for you next time, if you ever feel that way, you know, where you want to share, you know, the gospel, like, you know, whatever knowledge you have right now, go ahead and share that, because that's where you're at with your walk. You know, like, in our walk, in a relationship, you're supposed to grow closer with one another. So, you know, often, you know, as time goes and as you spend time with God, you know, you're going to learn more, and you're going to become more confident with anything else. You know, the more time you spend learning and studying, you're going to be more confident in it.
I have some stuff.
Oh, you have some stuff?
I know you have your phone written.
No.
I have some stuff.
Ask away.
So there's two things, but I'm gonna start with this one. This is a question for you.
Okay.
So way back when, this was like maybe 3 years ago, I think, we went on a road trip, a little trip to the Keys.
Yeah.
And this was during a different time period. This was a little bit before, or you were starting to get to. This was before anyone was like really getting to know
faith.
In their faith.
Yeah.
And
like senior year. Yeah.
Well, actually, this ties into the first thing I was gonna say.
Okay.
So first off, how do you feel about psychics?
Psychics?
Yeah.
So I think definitely. So are you mentioning this because at the Keys?
Yeah.
I went there.
Yeah.
Okay, so little thing for you guys. So this was, dang, which month was this? I don't know. So all right. So I remember this because this was a few months after my dad passed away, and this was before like I had Jesus encountered me, but I was still like, I was dipping my toes into everything. So I remember there was a psychic there, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check this out. And I was hurt. I was just trying to look for answers, you know, and I go to the psychic and I'm like, hey, like, do you guys do reading? She's like, yeah, sure. So I go there and she starts, you know, like doing the whole like palm readings and all that kinds of stuff. And then like tell me how old I'm going to be when I die, and like my grandkids. And like, the thing is, she was saying things that she knew, right? And like, she knew what she was talking about. And I was like, that's crazy that you know this kinds of stuff. Like, that's crazy. Like, what the heck? And after, she was like, all right, that's cool. $100. And I'm like, I'm like, dang, that's wild. But I think when it comes to psychics, tarot card readings, magicians, and like all that kinds of stuff, I would put it in a category as witchcraft. And the reason why, you know, like these things can be, because at the end of the day, like, it all is spiritual. That this is real things, but it's demonic, right? So like, say for instance, Ouija boards, right? When people go and then like, you know, they're doing all that, what you're doing is you're contacting evil spirits, and you could feel like you're talking to a dead relative, but really it's just a evil spirit that you're talking to. It's not your relative, and that's the hard truth. So I think definitely, like, when, you know, we're going into like psychics and like all these kinds of things, we don't realize it, but we're inviting those evil spirits in our household, and like we're bringing them with us. You can enter in the place without it, but when you're leaving, you don't know what you're bringing back with you. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I was asking that because it also ties in with my own personal experience. When I was how old was I? I think I was like 12. Yeah. I was in Missouri. Me and my family were there. We were there for one of our relatives' wedding.
Right.
I think my cousin's getting married.
Huh.
And we're going to the mall. We gotta buy some clothes. We gotta get everything done, shopping, get some presents, all that. And, we're buying fancy clothes, everything, this big mall. And then I'm walking with my dad and my brother, and my sisters, my mom, they go their other way to get their hair done. And I see a gumball machine or a jawbreaker machine.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, I've never had a jawbreaker before. I want that. I'm 12. I'm like, give me that candy. I want that now. And my dad's like, are you sure? I'm like, I don't think you understand how much I need this jawbreaker. I don't know why. I've never even liked any type of candy like that in my life.
And those gumball machines are always stale.
Yeah, exactly, they were
Like,
stale. So I'm like, I could have just easily chosen the gumball because it was like infinitely smaller.
Yeah.
But I want this giant jawbreaker. So I get the jawbreaker. I pop it in. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Whatever. I'm 12. And then we go into some toy store randomly, and this is maybe like 10 minutes have gone by. I'm like and I'm holding the jawbreaker in my mouth, doing what kids do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I just like swallow it.
Okay.
But it doesn't go down.
Okay.
So it's lodged in my throat.
Yeah.
And I realize like, oh wait a minute, I can't breathe. So it's me, my brother, and my dad are in there. The owner of the toy store, and then this sweet lady and her child. I start choking. I immediately realize that. I go to my dad. I start pointing at my throat. I'm like doing that, and my dad immediately, thank God, he's trained to be a lifeguard before, and it's funny now because I'm a lifeguard now. But I followed in his footsteps there.
Yeah.
But he immediately knew like what was going on. So he knows the Heimlich. He knows the maneuver to get it out to perform that on me. So he read the sign. He immediately goes to me. He starts just compressing my stomach, try to pop it out. My brother's over here. He's like 7. He's like crying on the floor. The manager, the worker, he comes over and he's more worried about the pile of spit and saliva that I have made on the floor.
He's like, yo, can you not make a mess?
So he's like, oh, I make $11 an hour. I don't get to deal with this. Like, I don't get paid to save lives. Like, so he's over there. He's like wiping up the saliva and the spit on the floor. And in my head, I'm not even acknowledging him, but my dad's telling the lady, to please go get help, or just please, I don't know, something. So she runs out of there. But in that moment, and tying back to the psychic thing, in that moment, the only thing, because I was starting to see black. Like this is my only probably real, just near death experience.
Okay.
He's doing the Heimlich on me. It's probably been maybe a minute or two has gone by of me just no oxygen. I'm suffocating on this solid gumball.
Right.
And the only thing I can think in my head is my mom had a psychic reading a month before that, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever because someone can tell you your future. And she told my mom some stuff about me, oh, he's gonna do this when he's in the future, he's gonna do this and do this. She said that I was going to, one of the things that really, the thing I was focusing on the most was that I was going to have a group of friends that I would remain friends with for majority of my life, a solid group of 4 or 5 friends that I would meet, and they would become my best friends for life.
Yeah.
And in my head, that's the only thing I could think of in that moment was oh, I can't die here because this has to happen.
Right.
This lady clearly saw the future. She told my mom what's going to happen to me, so that means that I can't die. And where I was, well, first of all, I survived. Let's just make that clear. I'm here right now. I survived.
Thank God.
But that was the only thing I could think of in the moment. And as I'm seeing black, my eyes are wide open, but I don't see anything.
Yeah.
It's all black. But I just had this feeling of, I know I'll be okay. This warm feeling of I'm reassured. And I think that was God.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was the idea I had in my head of I'm saved and protected. It was from God, but was that also from, like you said, demonic forces? Because of the thing I was thinking of was something that a psychic told my mom.
Right.
And that's where I was because I know they usually just say stuff that's very vague.
Yeah.
Psychics usually say things And a lot of people can believe it, but like you said, like it's all spiritual. Like it's all spiritual.
Yeah.
But what do you think of that?
So are you asking, like, what do you ask specifically?
Like I know my faith was in like I knew I was going to be okay because I knew God was with me. But in that moment, I didn't think it was God. I thought it was
Like the psychic.
Yeah, the psychic.
Yeah. I think, well, it's different to have a faith in something that you're being told, because someone can go up to you and be like, oh, you're going to do this in however long, right? Versus having faith in God. I think, since you were young, it's more or so like, okay, well, you're going to believe anything, basically, right? And how you were saying, like, you felt like a calmness. I would say, yeah, that is God protecting you. That was God protecting you. But, when it comes to psychics and all that, they can, I could say, like, tell the future. But also, I don't think I think it's a disbelief in what the future actually holds. Like, yeah, she told you you're gonna have a group of friends, like all that kinds of stuff, but like that could go within anywhere, not just regarding what she was saying, but like anyone could say that to anyone. You could have friends and stick with them for however amount of time. I think definitely, like, people can be seasonal, and yeah, you do have that firm group of friends who you are around. But like if we're talking like a psychic and like versus like God, I think the difference is faith can overcome any kind of evil force, because the evil force, the enemy is always desperate. He's going to try to make you believe anything and confuse you with making you think that he is God, because he's a jealous guy. He's like, oh, I'm the ruler of this world, but really God is the ruler of everything. Like his kingdom's gonna come down in here. So I think definitely like a psychic can say something, but you gotta be aware and discern whether it's from God or not of God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that really answered the question.
Well,
but
yeah, I was more looking for like what your view on it was.
Yeah.
Because like even like the way I look at psychics now is like exactly how you said it, and like how I, but in the moment, and like especially after the fact, I gave it more power because I'm like, oh, I did end up meeting a group of friends, so I'm like, oh, clearly what she was saying had to have been right. But like, growing up more now, I realize that it was more. It's not so. It's not that she had the power. This lady that said all that. It was God there, but there's also other spiritual
100%
forces at play. So that's why. And I didn't swallow the jawbreaker.
Oh, good.
Oh no, I did.
You did.
I didn't spit it
You
out.
choked on
I
it.
swallowed it. Yeah.
Okay, good for you.
And I lived. And the sweet lady gave me water.
Oh, nice.
But the store manager, he just looked at me and he said, "Get out of my store."
You made a mess.
No, he's like, "You made a mess of my store. Get out." And my dad's like, "My son was dying." I'm like, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah. This is I'd say a little bit of a touchy question.
Okay.
For me, at least.
Okay.
It was. Have you forgiven yourself for the stuff God has already forgave you for?
Yes and no. I think there's always. No one's perfect. No human's made perfect. We're always going to fail.
Of course.
I think some more than others, but I am constantly failing at everything. Even when I have a good day, a good week, the next week, it's just right back to it again. But it's the fact that we are saved, it's the fact that we are forgiven, that we get the opportunity to say that, to thank God, to thank Jesus, and to keep trying again and again to be more Christ-like, to show that thanks, to show that appreciation. So while I think that I definitely don't forgive myself at some times, and I don't feel like I deserve forgiveness, I know that that's kind of also the whole point of why Jesus
died
did
for
the
us.
selfless act for us.
Yeah.
So it's kind of selfish for me to not forgive myself.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Now, you said like showing appreciation, and like I want to ask you, like, what are ways, like, being real, like what are ways realistically that you show that appreciation? Do you think that you can choose to spend more time with God than you do now and build that relationship with him?
100%. Even like I said, the beginning of this whole thing,
Yeah.
I disperse too much of my time to a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, or like too many social events or too many things, when I need to balance my time out a lot better so that I am spending more time with God.
Yeah.
And more time with myself, knowing God. And so there's definitely so much more I can be doing.
Yeah. Okay.
And that I need to do. Not that I can do, but I need to do.
What are some things that you think you could do?
Well, first, definitely read my Bible. I definitely am not that good with reading my Bible.
Right.
Of course, always pray more. I can always pray more. I always do this serenity prayer in the morning, or try to get in the good habit of keep doing that. And then any chance I can, like before walking into a room or before talking to people, always pray. Always praying. So I make that a priority for sure. But definitely reading the actual written information in the Bible, I need to do more, because knowledge is power. And especially if I want that wisdom, or I need the wisdom, I know where to get it from. It's right next to me. Even on your phone, you know, there's an app for it. You can read it anywhere.
It's better to have wisdom than riches and all that kinds of stuff. All right, you're gonna hate this question.
Oh no.
No, you're gonna hate it. But like, what's you with going to church?
Yeah, you've been trying to drag me there for a minute now.
I pray a lot.
So the thing is, well, not the thing is, I can't use this as an excuse anymore.
Right.
But this used to be my excuse. Was I had a bad experience with going to church. I would go to it for a little bit, and then this is during a time I'll touch on it a little bit. During my breakup, I was going through a breakup at the time.
Yeah.
And then was going to this different church. It was a Catholic church, I think.
Okay.
I started to go there with a friend, and then just something happened that made me just not want to go there anymore.
Yeah.
At all, and that just turned me off to the whole idea of just going to a church.
Yeah.
Nothing like severely bad, but it was
You just got the wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you took me to your church for the first time, and that was my first time ever experiencing like when I saw people come on stage with a guitar and like drums, I'm like, what? Are we at the right place right now?
You're like, is this a concert?
I was like, it's 10 in the morning. What are we doing? It's a Sunday morning. What are we doing? I was so confused.
Yeah.
I was. It was really. To be honest, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary the first time I went.
Of course.
But it's over time, because that was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Over time, I've been more and more open to it, and just that sense of community, because like I didn't start feeling that, but until I guess some of the more recent times I've been to church, which has been very few and far between, because I don't make that a priority as much as I should. But the more I have been, the more I actually let my breathe. I don't tense up. Like I just
relax.
Yeah, because I'll be there and I'll feel like I'm being watched.
Right.
But I'm not. Everyone's there for the same reason that I am. So like, why should I be all tensed up? Why should I start sweating uncontrolled? I mean, we do live in Florida. It's a little hot.
Yeah.
But like, there's like so many times I'd go there and I'd feel like this, like I'd be so anxious that I'm just standing in church. I'd just wait until like the clock runs out and I can go out and I can be like, yeah, I went.
Yeah.
Like I saw it more as
It's like a to-do list.
Yeah,
like a check.
it's more of like, let me check it off.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I wake up and like, I want to go to church today.
Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely need to do more, because
Yeah.
I have let those walls down, and that sense of community there. Everyone's so nice and like genuinely nice, not like nice to put on a facade,
Right.
but like they want to be there.
Yeah.
No one feels forced to go there just because it's Sunday.
Yeah.
People that are there, they want to be there, and that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's just the love of God that like flows throughout everyone. Like, because I know that's why I'm not, I guess, too hard on you. And when it comes to that kind of way, because like least thing I want to do, and I've said this before, like I'm never going to force anyone to go to church, because then I'm no better than people who force religion onto people, right? And like you said, all I could do is pray. And I think, like, you know, having these conversations open up more of a better understanding of like all that stuff, because like when you go somewhere new, especially in church, it's like it can be very uncomfortable, and like yeah, you do feel like you're being watched, but it's like the more that you go, you start to be more comfortable and understand more about, you know, like what everything is about. Like we're all really there just to learn more and understand Jesus more, and like you said, like be around that community. That community is so important, so important. And that's how you meet like people that can change your life. You know, like you never know who God is gonna, you know, present yourself to in that kind of way. But I would definitely like, you know, pray more, and like if you feel like that's where I'm at right now, is like if I know that I could be better as a person and more of a basically like a better version of myself, and I see the opportunity there, it would make sense to go. You know what I mean? And that could be different with a lot of people, and you can't just ignore the trauma that comes with it, because that stuff is very real. I would like to argue and say though that the enemy always likes to use the things that he uses the things that is of God and turns it into bad. So it all comes with walking in faith instead of fear, because God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of faith.
Amen.
You know, so that's where I'm at with that. And like I said, like I always pray, like I get so excited when you guys like decide to come, and I'm like, for that fulfills me, because I know God's gonna cook something.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's always like, but I don't know like how you felt, but like remember the last time you went to like there, like, you know, church in general, it's like how at peace did you feel? You know, like you don't get that anywhere. So
it's definitely, and it's funny too, because like you said, you're trying to contain your excitement, but I know if you really wanted to, every weekend you'd be texting like me or anyone that you really want to go, like
I would,
like, hey, like go. And I know you've kind of like, you know, you don't do that too much because you don't want to force it. You know, and of course like that goes with a lot of people that, you know, we know that aren't Christian. Like that's why also I try to, you know, show it by example rather than like speak it onto people. But that another thing is like walking in fear instead of faith. I've done that way too much of walking in fear. And even like as little as I do go to church, the more and more I go, like during the songs, like I would just stand there, you know, kind of just. But like the more I go, the more I let go, and the more like I'm putting my hands up, like reaching out, like actually just feeling it. And that is. I do pray that I that continues to grow within me, because it's like those little things, but I still hold on to that fear a lot.
And remember, like that's what I've understood now. Like everything's literally handed to us. God has it all there for us, but it takes our step too to take that, you know, risk or whatever it is. And that's what faith is at the end of the day. Faith is the belief in the unseen. You know, it's already there. So, you know, like when we say like, okay, my big thing right now currently is like, let my yes be a yes and let my no be a no. You know, so if I'm gonna dedicate myself to something, I gotta go and do it, because I know I'm gonna regret it later, and I know I'm hurting myself, and you know the future me is counting on the current me right now. So that's, I always ask. And I've always asked, instead of saying, God, give me new sight to see, just God, give me more faith to see. Because walking with sight is very different than walking with faith. And that is something that I will always pray for more of, because when you, like you said, when you have faith, you're virtually unstoppable. So that is something that I pray for. Do you feel like you know Jesus, or you just know about him? Want me to emphasize that a bit?
No, if you want to, actually, go for it.
Say, for example, right? Name a celebrity. Anyone.
Tom Cruise.
Okay, Tom Cruise. We know who he is?
Can I change the celebrity?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Steve Carell.
Okay, Steve Carell. Steve Carell. All right. So, we all know who Steve Carell is. Right? But do we know him personally?
No.
No.
Because I was thinking of The Office. I'm
Oh.
like, because he's the main guy in The Office, and he also plays Gru. So I'm like, I feel like
He
I
plays
know him a lot.
Gru?
You didn't know that?
No.
Steve Carell plays Gru.
He's girls?
He's Gorals. Minions assemble. He's there. He's the Minions. Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh, I didn't.
Gru. Okay, we're getting. Okay, continue.
Okay. So
A celebrity.
yeah.
Okay.
So Steve Carell, we know about him, but we don't know him personally, and I feel like that's how it is when it comes to Jesus. A lot of people know Jesus. They've heard about the story of him, but do they know him personally? You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking.
I definitely think that I've had moments where where I've done something that I just wasn't in control of, that I didn't think I was gonna do, something that just happened, and I think that was Jesus. But I would definitely say I know more about him than I do know him personally.
Okay, yeah. That's why like I emphasize the relationship aspects, because it's like obviously the more you hang out around someone, you're gonna get to know them better. So, and that's the thing at the end of the day, where it's just like, what are we doing to try to build that relationship more?
Yeah.
Because like I could tell you, and like I know so many other people, like God moves crazy when you just stay, when you get to know him and like walk in obedience, and it's like you start to love God so much to the point where you start to turn away from your old actions, and that's what kind of repenting is, because often we could feel very hurt and we can beat ourselves up for stuff that's honestly can be out of our control. But when we choose to follow God more and more, it's like, I feel so loved, I just want to share this love with everyone. And that's what God does with us. It's like, like I have this spirit in me that I can't contain, to the point where it's just like, like I gotta share this with someone. Like, it's so cool. But that's why I asked that.
I want to say I want to say I know Jesus, because I definitely do, but I also know that I feel a lot of time, like I said, unworthy or guilty a lot of the time for not doing certain things.
Yeah, like shame.
Yeah, shame.
Yeah.
Which I know could lead me to know Jesus more, more personally. But like there's been moments like beautiful things have happened that I've just like cried over.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I just know, like in that moment I'm like, that was Jesus.
Yeah.
So I do, like, I don't want to make it sound like I don't know, or like I've never felt the presence of Jesus.
You could feel distant. That's
a better way to put it.
You could feel distant. Yeah, and that's what it is. I can tell you, like, the days where like I don't start my day with God, or like I don't open up my word. And I want to say this too, like don't feel like you have to read like a whole chapter every single morning.
It's just like you said, a checklist thing.
Yeah, and it's like, if you got to read like a Bible verse or 3 and just meditate on that throughout the day, go ahead and do that. Like, because when I first started, like till this day, like sometimes I would just meditate on a single verse, like the verse of the day. You know what I mean? Like, and because you're gonna overwhelm yourself when you do that. Like, take it day by day with that kind of stuff. But what was I saying before? I forgot. I just lost my train of thought.
Where I was saying how being distant.
Oh yeah. Like, we could feel like often distant from him when you don't spend time with him. So and that's once you make that relationship with God, it's like you get like anxiety.
Giddy. Oh, yeah.
Giddy.
Yeah, I thought you said happy. Like
no. Well, yeah, you get happy, but like you almost get like, when you feel distant, you get anxious and you start to feel like you're not yourself.
And that's when I feel shameful and unworthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, imagine if you continued to like every single day, like choose that time and to put that time in for God. Imagine like there's no room for shame anymore.
And that's why it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Because we're always gonna fail and we're always not gonna be good at that.
Yeah.
But we're still loved nonetheless.
Yeah.
We're still saved nonetheless.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, like, why do you love me so much when like I continue to like misrepresent you, when I continue to fail you so many times?
Yeah, like,
but just you turn the corner and Jesus is there, open arms.
Yeah, like,
so it's like that's what's so beautiful about it.
Yeah, I love that. But anyways, I want to ask, like, what's next? Like, what's next for you?
Definitely a transition period in my life right now. I don't know what I'm doing next week. You know, I don't know what's going on, but right now I got a lifeguard job.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I get to just look at a pool, pretty much.
Guys, for those who are watching, comment congratulations, Cristian.
Yeah, can we get let's get some claps. Get some clap
guys.
emojis in the
Like,
comments.
This is a big achievement.
Yeah.
This is big.
No, I was unemployed for a year.
Yeah.
After I had posted some TikToks, some viral videos.
Did you make any money from that?
$0.
What?
I made some skits, 3 of them I put them on TikTok and on Instagram. They all got $0.
What?
I made nothing. And there's
Bro.
people that reposted them that got
No,
money
you got a
from it.
lot of reposts.
They got money from
a
it.
lot of
They got
reposts.
millions and millions of views.
Were
so-
you like signed up? With
Yeah,
the
I
things?
like filled my taxes out on everything on there. I was like just send me the check when you guys are ready.
Yeah.
And just crickets. I got nothing.
Bro,
It's because they thought I was actually like they thought the skits were
that
like
got
real.
millions of views.
They thought I was harassing people, but they were just my friends. Disclaimer, by the way.
They were shout out Gabby and Sam.
Yeah, I'll shut them out.
And Patty.
It was just like
Was it Pat? I forgot. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
Patty,
Okay,
yeah,
Patty.
was in it.
Patty Racks.
It was just
Yeah.
videos of me like just like pretending to harass my friends with like a voice impression. That's one of my things I can do is voice impressions.
When you describe that, it's like
Yeah,
I was pretending to harass my friends,
it
guys.
wasn't real harassment, okay? I was funny about it. That's different. But no, but ever since then, because I got a lot of attention from that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what like I wasn't ready for all that noise. I was like the last thing I thought I was ready for that moment. Like obviously you kind of dream of like, oh, this is what I want to do growing up. And then I got that attention. I'm like, I'm nowhere near mature enough. I'm nowhere near where I want to be personally, spiritually in my life to just put myself out there and just, you know, I'm glad I didn't do anything with it, to be honest. I don't think I would be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
If I just like kept posting random stuff on social media.
That shows
'Cause then
a
I
lot
was
of-
giving that power.
Yeah, that shows a lot of humility.
I was giving it so much power,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
when I had to stop. Because that was like when I was focused on that, I was like the most unhealthiest like 2 weeks of my life. Of just like I was just so obsessed with like numbers, like
The-
what can what
the
gets
worldly things.
exactly the worldly things. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, I need to step away. So I'm glad I did it. And no matter how many people come up to me and ask me, because like they'll see like the followers I have on Instagram or like all that, they're like, you know, oh, you're stupid for not doing that. Like, why don't you do that? Like, I used to felt like ashamed of it. Like if other people had that opportunity, they would have taken it.
Right.
Which is probably true. But like for me personally, I don't regret a thing I did.
No, you know best yourself at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I needed that ego death to happen for me to, you know, bring me back down to earth and be more humble.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I think we touched on everything.
Yeah.
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 That was amazing.
That
I love
was good conversations.
Yeah, I pray that, you know, I definitely got something from this
Mhm.
and everything. From now on, do you think, you know, obviously it's different being said, but like, do you see yourself at least like trying to walk more in your faith?
Of
I guess?
100%. 100%. I'm always going to try more to walk in my faith.
Yeah.
Like it's been, as much as my journey is different from so many other people's, like I'll see people like overnight they change, or like over the course of a week. Mine's more steady, you know, kind of, it's like a graph going up.
Yeah.
And that is 100% on me, because
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of things that's preventing me from getting to where I should be or
Right.
where I want to be.
Right.
But I'm always going to keep trying to be better. I'm always going to try to be more Christ-like. I'm always going to just try to put my best foot forward and have God enter the room before me, and no matter where I go.
Yeah. That's great, bro. I love it. And I would encourage you to, like, during your nights or, you know, before you're going to bed, ask the Lord for him to encounter you. You know, like, keep on asking, because the more desperate that we are, like, for him, the more of his presence that is going to be shown of him. So
Thank you for having me on, Nikki. This has been a long time in the
I know,
making.
literally. Can we end off with like a voice impression?
A voice impression? What do you want to hear?
What do you got? Surprise us. Okay.
Nikki!
on the podcast.
That was great.
Is that gonna pick up on the mic, or is it gonna like?
They're probably gonna hear like.
If you like the Nicholas James Daraspino.
Oh, wait. Can you do what was it? Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
Yeah. That's my favorite one.
Lightning McQueen. You mean Tomater?
Tomater. Yeah, Tomater.
Well, shoot! Thanks for having me on the Darn Gun Nicky Daraspino podcast. Now we're gonna go win them Piston Cups.
Amen, guys. All right. Remember, guys, Jesus loves you and he wants nothing but a relationship with you. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.